Hi, this is Junaid back with another video on telemedicine. Today we're going to discuss how to choose a telemedicine platform. These three words should be burned into your memory. Number one, it has to be secure, it has to be affordable, and it has to be accessible. There's a lot of confusion in the market which platforms to use and what are the current requirements for you to provide safe, secure telehealth solutions for yourself and your patients. Before we start, I want to disclose that I do work for VeeMed as a clinical strategist. And the idea is that of this video is not to actually just promote my platform, which is of course one of the great platforms that you should consider, but also to actually have an understanding which platform to choose. And more importantly, what are the criteria to choose a decent platform. The idea behind it is that if you are investing in one, you should get it right the first time. And if you're not going to invest your time into choosing one, you will have problems down the line. Since most of our physicians are now considering telehealth solutions, you should see this video to make sure your platform meets your needs. Special shout out to VeeMed for actually donating these telehealth solutions in this time of national emergency. And that's one of the reasons that I actually joined the company, because they were kind enough to actually recognize the national emergency and was able to provide their solutions for free to help in this time. I'm not going to go into all this telemedicine issues, but these are a few testimonials that are abound. And even within this pandemic area and after this pandemic time, you're going to see that people are going to flock to telemedicine, especially the millennials. I'm going to read this one so that you understand. Yesterday, I had a telephone appointment with a physician and then saved 3 hours of round trip, petrol, parking, and childcare expenses. So people are definitely interested, and some people are actually wanting to have rather telemedicine appointments as compared to in-person appointments. So key areas that you need to concentrate on when you're choosing a platform. Number one is hardware. People do concentrate a lot on hardware. To be honest with you, I think this is over concentration on hardware issues. It has to be affordable, in my opinion, and quality. At the end of the day, you don't want to spend too much on a hardware that's not going to help direct patient care. PTZ camera, which is pan tilt zoom, is, in my opinion, is important in acute situations, in situations where you need a true zoom in effect on, let's say, skin rashes or etc. Or in, for example, acute stroke situations when you have to look at a pupil. But in certain situations, you don't need it, so why pay for it? So when you are considering your solutions, please make sure that the hardware that you absolutely need, you pay for that and not more. It has to be quality but affordable. Most of these hardware solutions, you have to understand, the shelf life for them is 3, maximum 4 years. So you will eventually need to upgrade them given the technology changes that come. So if you don't want to spend too much on the first time and then every 3 years you're spending again a buttload of money. So be careful when you're choosing a hardware solution. It has to be affordable but quality that lasts around 3 years. Then you have to choose if you need, where do you need, what extra situations that you need. For example, if you need a Bluetooth integrated stethoscope, and where do you need the placement of the camera, and that's where you're going to understand to truly invest in a PTZ camera, or a regular camera could do the job. The second important thing is the software. Software has to be accessible, in my opinion. If you need a special app to install, if you need a special situations where the support is not there for multiple devices, that is quite hindering for us physicians to provide care. Provider experience is extremely important, and accessibility is the key for it. And choose a company, and any company, you need to make sure that they are constantly improving on their software, because things are changing, things are getting more customizable. So therefore, make sure that they actually have not only the patient experience in mind, they also have the provider experience in mind. One of the key things for me personally would be OS agnostic. So it's a browser-based solution. Again, you don't need, it can work on a Chromebook, a Mac, a Windows, whatever operating system you want to use, it is compatible with that. Another thing is interoperability. I have to still suggest that interoperability is in its infancy. Generally speaking, what it generally means is that your PDF, the document, is uploaded in your choice of EMR. However, you can choose to directly document in your EMR as well. Either way, whatever you decide, interoperability is one of the fundamental things that are going to be changing the way we do telehealth in the future, including able to pull labs, images, etc. Right now it's in its infancy, but the companies who have that interoperability in mind should be the one that you should consider highly. Clearly, PACS integration, if that's important to you, to look at chest x-rays. For me as a neurologist, looking at CAT scans is important. And to be honest with you, there should be a brand portal. There should be a white space that patients log in to identify that this is your practice. I think that's very key for them to understand that they're A, at the right place, and B, that you're projecting your brand as well. So a brand portal is actually, in my opinion, an important consideration when you're choosing a platform. Security should be uncompromising. There should be no delay, no chance of you being unsecured at all times. End-to-end encryption is the key, and any platform that even suggests that they are HIPAA compliant, believe it or not, HIPAA does not require end-to-end encryption. It suggests it, it recommends it. But end-to-end encryption is not only HIPAA in the sense of protection of the patients, but also your practice need to be protected as well. And not only that they have end-to-end encryption, they actually have 24/7 security monitoring as well. As far as the documentation is concerned, again, you have two options. One, you can actually use your own EMR while using the platform for telehealth as separate, or you have inbuilt documentation within the platform. I recommend using it within the platform if it is easily navigable and it is easily able to access. Then I think that is the best way to do it, because that will save you a lot of time as far as provider experience is concerned. Most of us, when we are starting with the telehealth, we feel like, oh, how are we going to do this, all these documentation? First of all, you have to understand that most of the telehealth documentation is time-based codes. So there is minimal requirements for documentation. It is much better, in my opinion, to do that rather than copy-pasting long notes with crap in it. So at the end of the day, it is better to use whatever documentation requirements that you have, look through them, make sure that it works for you. The other thing, most important thing, is support. The 24/7, 365 technical support truly is the expensive portion of the platform. And if they are not compromising on that and quote unquote giving it for free, who cares? Because if your patient cannot get onto the platform easily, and if they have any issues, somebody can walk through with them through the technical support. That is the key issue. You cannot compromise on that. And so minimal learning curve, in the sense that patients will have easy time getting on the platform. And then secondly, if they do have a problem, and there are people who will have problem either way, that could actually be solved by providing technical support to them 365, 24/7. And lastly, compliance and billing. This is a necessary evil. And people keep saying that, of course, in the COVID-19 pandemic, we do not need true HIPAA compliance. I agree. And you should provide care to the patients regardless of HIPAA compliance issues in this national emergency. But eventually, what I'm trying to say is that if you are going to look for a platform and invest time in looking at a platform, make sure it is HIPAA compliant. Also, if that platform has e-commerce support, because more and more of these things that go moving forward, insurance companies are actually supporting telehealth's reimbursement. But eventually, what you're going to see is that some of these people who are uninsured as well will actually flock towards telemedicine as a solution, and then just pay direct pay. And there are a lot of companies that are actually coming through this. You may also have your own revenue cycle management company that actually helps you with your billing. But if it doesn't, they also have a solution in the background that can help you with the billing, etc. So think about those things, if you need it, if you don't need it, and how you're gonna, and if the platform is making sure that you have those solutions. So end-to-end encryption is extremely important. You should go to chino.io, and then they can actually go ahead and make sure that you understand what is actually needed for end-to-end encryption and how it is important. So ideal for security sensitive medicines, example, doctors and patient charts. Anytime end-to-end means that that there's an originating site, there's a tunnel, and then there's a receiving site. End-to-end means that everything from the originating site, the tunnel, and the endpoint is all encrypted, and not just the tunnel that is encrypted. And this helps in multiple ways. First of all, it's crucial because you can have fines, reputation damage, loss of business, and more importantly, believe it or not, hacks. There has been an increase in ransomware. Approximately 172 ransom attacks were done since 2016, with $157 million lost. To protect your own patients, yourself, and your practice, make sure that you have end-to-end encryption and also HIPAA compliance if that's possible. So beware of those solutions that are advertised as free, etc. The question is, even if they are HIPAA compliant, are they having security monitoring 24/7? And in the news, there has been something about Zoom. You can look at it at your own time. But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, security is crucial. Thanks for listening to this lecture. Please check us out on the web, online, join our telemedicine group for these videos and updates that are regularly coming. Thank you very much for your time.